Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Allen, and welcome back to the Whatta podcast. It's kind of crazy. Episode 31. We're here. We've made it to 31. 3-1. The big. That's an adult, baby. That's. I, I don't know where that joke was going. That's an adult? Yeah. It's been an adult for 13 episodes. That's right. I can do math quick. Brain so big. Anyways, what are we talking about today? We're talking about multiple things. There's a much larger one. If you couldn't tell by the title, the joke I'm getting at, I already forgot what the title is called. I gave it preemptively to Kingsley to make a thumbnail because I was like, this is what I'm going to talk about because I saw Nope. We're going to get there. Firstly, I'd like to say, it's kind of crazy. I'm going back. I'm going back to start my final year at college, which is insane to think about, because I came with just enough credits to shave a whole year off. So instead of 2 years left, I just have this upcoming one, and that's insane. I go back to move in at the end of this week, you know. So the What a Book is going to be pre-recorded, obviously, so that it can be up and ready for you guys while I move in and settle in and like get a desk situated and all that jazz. Because sometimes you just want to relax. You drive an ungodly amount of hours and then you're just like, I want sleep, and you lay down. Uh, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I've started packing non-essentials, which means things that aren't clothes or toiletries, which just meant video games. Video game stuff for the other channel, which is insane to think about because I have so many games. There's so many games I want to get to that I still haven't gotten to yet, and I think that's also insane. There's also some games that I was hoping I would finish so I didn't have to bring back with me, and now I'm debating on whether or not I should actually bring them or not. Some of them I'm for certain gonna bring. Obviously, if you've been keeping up with the things that I do, uh, over on the Twitch channel, I do my streams. There's been a lot of games in the streams right now, because I had a lot more time because I was just working. I was only working and then being home. Uh, but now that I'll be back in school doing things like homework and all that jazz, I'm gonna probably cut it back down to just maybe on the weekend. I might bump it to 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what work scheduling looks like up there back at the college. Uh, like as in for an actual job. You know, depending on how that looks, will determine if I do 3 or just 2. Because if I can get one on the campus, then I'll be able to do all 3 as long as homework permits. But if it's off campus, then we would just have to see. We would just have to see. And that's okay. Packed a lot of we packed a lot of video games, a lot of board games. I realized that that's pretty much my whole existence. Is that, and then my clothes, and then yeah, pretty much once that's all packed, I'll be good to go. And then my desktop, I have to pack that as well. I've been trying to fast wrap recording some some videos for the week, so that way I can have them like ready and set. So that way when I'm deciding to take too long to go get a desk and a chair because those things are expensive, then it doesn't, cost me too much, like my life or my soul, or the ability to create, because I really, really love creating. I love making this stuff. I don't know if that's ever been properly stated, because it doesn't need to be. Punk. No, I'm kidding. But I really love working on all these things. I think it's great. Anyways, I was going to talk about something else before I moved on, and I already forgot. Because my brain is blank. It's late. It's 5 minutes to midnight, which is insane. I did 3 recordings? Yeah, I recorded 3 games of the, 7, no, of the 8 that I needed to get done. Because the power went out, which I thought was wild. It went out for like an hour. I don't understand that. I was like, why? That was such a weird period of time. And at first I thought it was just me. And by that I mean at my mom's house. thought it was my mother's house. She was like, so I went to go check stuff for her, and then I learned that other people in the street had their power out, and I was like, oh, I guess it's everyone. And it was a very odd thing, but now here we are. Oh, I can mention that real quick, just because I think it's cool. I've started amassing a list, and by that I mean I amassed a list of the horror movies that Ice Nine Kills have done songs about, because I want to show them to someone. And so I was like, well, I need a list first so I know which ones they are. And I knew most of them. There was like 2 where my brain blanked out because I was just looking at the title like, what could this be? I think the one that really got me was Pet Sematary. That one threw me for a hot loop, and the Devil's Rejects one threw me for a loop. But other than that, I pretty much knew everything else. I really like the 2 albums. The Silver Scream and Welcome to Horrorwood. Solid. I think they're great pieces of both music as well as examples of intertextuality. And I'm kind of hoping, because I'm taking a class on intertextuality, that I'll get to bring it up to my professor. Because I think that'd be a cool thing, because it would still relate back to movies and film, because, film student. There's lots of things I've been thinking about in looking forward to that class, as well as in thinking about intertextuality, that I've just found kind of intriguing, because sometimes I kind of think about them. Forget about them. Sometimes I forget about them. And then I remember, and I'm like, yes, this is the peak, because sometimes I think about the assorted and varied video game adaptations that we have out there, from your big old clunkers, like somehow both of the Hitman movies, awful, all the way to your greats. I'm looking at you, Sonic. And I think only Sonic. Resident Evil, we've tried so many times. There's 7 of you. How can there be 7 of you and you're all bad? Anyways. That, Ice Nine Kills with their music. Just a lot of things. And I find it very intriguing. So that I don't need to bring that up to you guys, but you're here. It was a thought, so what a thought it was. Whoa, did he just say something resembling the title? Dude, that's just explodes. Anyways. Oh my god. Oh, that's actually kind of hilarious. I forgot about that. I went on a cruise. Not last week, but the week before that. So I think a What a Book was pre-recorded for that. But I went on a cruise, and I don't remember. It was after the first night, because the first night they showed was it Death on the Nile? Yeah, Death on the Nile, which I would like to see from the beginning because I thought that was pretty solid, and Uncharted. Right? I'll get to Uncharted in a second. It does relate back to the intertextuality as well as just, video game movie adaptation. But I saw a man, and I read his shirt, and it took me a moment, but it had one of those stupid like designs on it where it's supposed to be a gift, but the ribbon said 2 women from God, and I was like, no. I was like, are we serious about this one, sir? Because here was my issue with it. Besides that it's just a dumb shirt, which I don't hate dumb shirts, is the fact that he's not the prettiest man. Now, I'm not a pretty man. I'm an average guy. I will never accept to be anything more than that, unless I just go hit the gym really hard and give up on YouTube until I'm done hitting the gym, right? But it was just so goofy to see this shirt and then see the man wearing it, and then see the looks that other people were giving him too, because it wasn't just me who saw the shirt. Duh, I'm not that cool. I'm not that special. I just get to be the guy that talks about it here on this podcast. Other people can talk about it on other podcasts. Ooh. But it was just so wild to me. And I hadn't thought about shirts like that in a while. And then I was reminded of that shirt because I went to work today, the day of recording this, which was both Sunday, as in yesterday, if you're listening to this on Monday, and Monday, the day it went up. because brain, no melt. Good. But a man walked in while I was in my shift, and his shirt said, "I eat 'em raw." And I was like, "Oh, I think I know what your shirt is about." I didn't say that to him, but I thought it. I thought it for a while. I was like, why did I have to witness that today? I could have gone my whole life without seeing this man wear this shirt. And it was, what a man, too. I was like, I think this is a man I'd be terrified to hear that statement from. He was not the man you want to hear that from. That's not the man you want to hear that from at night. But it was something. But anyways, Uncharted. So I saw Uncharted. As a video game adaptation, I still think Tom Holland seems too young. And I blame that on his portrayals of Spider-Man for the MCU, where he's playing a teen. Because I know he's like in his mid-20s or something, which is what, like 9 years off? 8 years off or whatever from however old Nathan Drake is in the video games. But it's so young. It's so weird. I know they're doing it so they can build a franchise out of it and like adapt the other games, but they're never going to get to the ending. They're never going to get to A Thief's End with their Nathan Drake that they've created. He's too young. It's not going to have the same emotional impact. It'll be like killing a child. And outside of that, I thought the movie was fine. I was like, this is a pretty solid take on what is occurring here. I didn't like mustacheless Sully for some reason. Although I think I've just been garnering a distaste for Mark Wahlberg in general recently. I don't know what that's about. But something about him just isn't the same recently. I don't know what it is. But I'll figure it out, I guess. And I think the only other thing I wrote down in response to that, because I did write these down during that cruise, because I was like, I do want to talk about these, but then I haven't written any notes since because I've been horribly distracted by other things, personal things. There was a fly animation they used to show from getting to one location to another on a plane, and I think we need to stop using that in movies. The one where they'll zoom out to like a map, right, and they'll show you this like still image of a plane and like a dotted line going from one push pin to another in this map. And some variation of that form of showing someone traveling to their destination shows up in so many more movies than like you expected to, but then you look back and you're like, oh, forgot that's in there. And I feel like it's a money saving technique to not have to show any form of like actual plane flying or them in plane or like anything of the sort. It's to save money. But I think in the process of saving money and just using the same animation, you kind of lose your hold on your audience because they tune out when just airplane noises move from left to right in their ears as they watch a little like dotted line move further along until it reaches its destination. And then you decide, oh, let's check back in with people. Did you want that? Did you want to check back in with people? Why would you want to do that? What do you need people for? A little piss baby. And then you're just like, well, I'm not a piss baby. And they're like, here's Mark Wahlberg. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. We're back in it. And it's like, no, you should have just been back in it the whole time. We should have never left. And it's like that animation, it gets me. It gets me thinking about that it's not good. But what is good, and I think better than that transition I was about to do, is Nope. Nope by Jordan Peele. If you haven't seen Nope, I recommend you go see it. It doesn't matter how you see it, although I suggest in theaters or on a streaming service where you have to pay for it so that they can be paid for their work, because it's a good movie. I saw Nope. I think like most people, I kind of went in with this idea in my head of, oh, okay, it's gonna be an alien movie. There's a UFO. There's a lady with a creepy face, which I do feel bad about that one, and I will explain. So Nope is Jordan Peele's new movie. If you don't know Jordan Peele, he is the man behind Get Out and Us. He was an executive producer on the new Candyman, and he batting home runs on the things that he writes and directs, which has only been 3 things so far, because I'm not counting Keanu, as much fun as that movie was, and I also don't think he wrote that, but I haven't checked. But he's been batting 3 for 3 in his tour de force through like horror. That's what I'm gonna say. His tour de force through horror, and Nope it's been sitting in my mind, right? It's been sitting in my mind for like 3 days now, 4 days now, because it's Monday. Because it's just every little thing just sticks out, and it gets you. And when you think about it, and it just builds, and you're left with it, and it's so good. So sorry if you haven't seen it. I recommend just go ahead and tuning out. Thank you for joining for those 15 minutes. But everyone else, stick around, I guess, if you've seen it. So the first thing I would like to note is that Nope is not a alien movie. It's a creature feature. And I think that's so cool because we haven't really had like a good creature feature. I guess the closest you could get is whatever was happening on the moon in Moonfall. But that movie was bad because it was a Roland Emmerich disaster movie, and he keeps making them when we don't want them. We killed that genre in like 2006. Not even mentioning when we killed it in 2012 with 2012 or whenever that movie came out. But it's a creature feature. If you don't know what a creature feature is, it's not the best type of movie. But it usually centers around there's some form of giant creature or like distinct creature who is terrorizing the cast of generic characters. These characters are far from generic, I would like to say. But anyways, the creature in this film, they give it a name eventually closer to the end. They call it Jean Jacket. That's what I'm going to call it. Its name is Jean Jacket. If you've seen the ads, it looks like a UFO. All the shots make it look like a UFO. If you've seen the movie, you know it's not. And you learn a lot. And I know there's a lot of people that were confused by certain things. I know the person I went and saw it with, when the movie was over, they were like, "That's it? That's the end?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Do you not get it?" I was like, this makes so much sense. I felt like a weirdo. It's a creature feature. It's not a UFO. And the big takeaway is people's needs for like to exploit something in a manner that takes it away from what it is, which is a very weird sentence. But excuse me, sorry, I yawned. But that's the whole premise of the movie, essentially. Well, that's part of the premise. It's that, and then also the people that cannot seem to fathom the idea that the way they're going about trying to find fame is sometimes the entirely wrong way to do it, as symbolized by Mr. TMZ, as we're going to call him later on. But essentially, to just cliff notes it, OJ and his sister Emerald, their father owned a horse ranch where he would train horses to be used in movies. And the first one they were supposed to be in was The Scorpion King, which is so funny because that is a real movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which was a prequel movie to The Mummy 2: Rise of the Scorpion King. And I think that's hilarious. But anyways, and it's a whole thing. Their father dies in the beginning of the movie because of the quote-unquote ship known as Jean Jacket. And we kind of get to see OJ, like, before we get involved with Jean Jacket, we get to see OJ as he tries to continue on like his father, and he's not doing well. He's not doing well at all with it. His sister is not into it. Like, she's doing what she needs to do, but she's not for the horse training and all that. which is understandable. I get that. Sometimes people want to do their own thing, especially if their memory of it isn't as enjoyable or like intuitive, not intuitive, or like intact as other people's versions of that memory, which is okay. I also realize this is going to be very all over the place, but they're doing that. There's a power outage at their home. They think they see a UFO. They want to get cameras to point at the sky so they can try and capture it. I am so tired, and I apologize for that. They get cameras. We get introduced to Angel. Angel sets up all the cameras for them. It's a whole thing. They get their first sighting. They get their first instance of like Jean Jacket doing its thing with a horse named Ghost. Ghost gets out. He's running around. Jean Jacket eventually gets Ghost, and he dips off. He disappears into the night. It's a whole thing. I'll explain, because he's not taking that horse. He does, but not to take it. So Angel sets him up with cameras. They're trying to capture it. Whole bunch of stuff happens. There's another horse. I think his name is Clover. There's another not a ranch. There's a little amusement park nearby run by. I don't want to say I can't remember his name. I just keep saying Glenn from The Walking Dead, because that was the character he played. I cannot remember his name. It's Glenn from The Walking Dead. If you Google it, you'll find the man. If you Google Casanope, you'll find the man. He owns a little park. I think it's called Jupiter's Range. It's Jupiter's something, because he played a character in a sitcom in the like 90s named Jupe, and he's kind of banking off that success after another sitcom he was supposed to be in was ended abruptly after an on-set incident involving you guessed it, animal. They had a primate, a chimp. His name was Gordy. And that was the whole premise of the sitcom, is that it's called Gordy's Home, and there's this chimp, and it's like the whole thing. And there's an incident on set where the chimp he snaps, and he just starts messing people up. He just, oh boy. He kills at least one person? Maybe two? We never see a second confirmed kill, but we do see another person live through the trauma. One of his co-stars. It's very sad. It's the if you've seen the trailer, there's the shot where they have like the wind blowing, and they make you assume, because the trailer set you up to think, oh, UFO, but then they show that lady and you're like, oh, that must be an alien. No. No, it's just a lady who was attacked by a chimpanzee as like a teen or like a young child, and that is just, it's what her face and like everything looks like, because Gordy messes her up and then like eats a bit of her face, and it's real messed up. It's wild. Hey, sorry, if you're still listening, clearly you've seen the movie, or you didn't care to go see it, and now you get to hear about a chimp eating a face, and I can hear you raising your hand like, now tell me this. Tell me, what does the chimp have to do with anything else? And it's literally the same. It's the tale of Jean Jacket, but in chimp form, is essentially what it's setting you up for, like the exploitation of this animal, because the whole reason they're trying to capture footage of Jean Jacket, which is the name of the alien, is so that they can be the first people to have this footage, because they know once word gets out, people are going to be like vultures. Everyone's going to want to have a little piece of this, they're all going to want to have a little piece of Jean Jacket and be like, I was the one that claimed it. So they want to have the, as they call it, Oprah shot, and they just keep messing with it in the hopes that it comes out and they can get this footage that they want so badly. But eventually, with most wild animals, when you start to do things like that to it and treat it like how you're treating it, it's going to retaliate, because it's an animal. Those are its instincts. And that's what happens with Gordy. They're shooting a scene where Gordy's given a big gift with a lot of balloons. And if you've ever been on a film set or even like seen the inside of a studio, those lights are hot. If you put helium balloons in there, things are going to go awry. So the balloons pop and Gordy he snaps. He goes off, and Jupe, the man who owns the little theme park centered around his other TV character, he's traumatized. He lives his life traumatized. It's probably some of the most compelling character work in the whole movie, because having to connect that whole Gordy thing back to adult Jupe and then also to Jean Jacket is kind of insane. And the way it connects back is because even though, Jupe witnessed all of this occur, like he saw what happened with Gordy when Gordy is exploited and when he's pushed to the brink and all that jazz, but eventually you find out that Jupe has seen this UFO and he thinks the UFO is just taking the horses, right? He's like, oh, they're taking the horses. And so he is buying a horse from the Haywoods, which is OJ and Emerald's family's last name. He's been buying horses from them and using them in his show every week. But in reality, he's been just feeding it to Jean Jacket, because it turns out Jean Jacket is an alien entity that is just taking the shape of a UFO, because it's like, okay, that's probably what these people want me to look like. It's like, this is what I should be. And so it's been taking the shape of a UFO, and every time it takes up a horse, it's just eating it. So every week, like clockwork, this man has been feeding it a horse. But because OJ and Emerald have been messing with it, it's much more feisty, and it refuses to just eat the horse, the third horse that we're getting to, because it gets Ghost, it gets Clover, and then it gets all the other ones that Jupe has been feeding it, and they have Lucky, and they're trying to feed it Lucky. So he's like, there's a grand opening, it's a new show for you guys, because that was going to be his thing, was that once a week he would do the show for a bunch of guests and put out a horse and let Jean Jacket eat it. But Jean Jacket has been getting messed with by the Haywoods, and he's very upset. He shows up very early and he eats the whole crowd, which includes Jupe and his wife and his 3 kids, and also his very special guest, which was the very maimed lady from Gordy's home. And he eats them all. And that sequence it's the first time we get to see the inside of this creature, when it has people in it, and it's terrifying. It's haunting. It is a beautiful piece of cinema. And up until that point, we've been just kind of dealing with the Jaws situation of this creature is out there and we're gonna get it. And then all of a sudden we veer into this moment of just pure unadulterated terror, and it's beautiful. And then you get to really think about those connections between Jean Jacket snapping and just eating everyone, and thinking about Gordy snapping and just killing everyone, because even in the flashback you see that Gordy does calm down. There's a moment where Gordy goes to do a fist bump, an exploding fist bump as it's called, with Jupe. And right as they go to make contact, someone shoots Gordy. They kill the monkey, obviously, because he just went on a rampage. Duh. But just the connections between Gordy and Jean Jacket, the storytelling with Jupe, everything that the Haywoods have going on, the cinematography, the score, it's also goddamn just great. And sitting on it and thinking on it and just piecing together these connections. This one didn't come from me. This one came from the Dead Meat podcast. If you don't know them, you should give them a watch. They're pretty good. But they mentioned something that I didn't catch, because I didn't catch that her name was Emerald, Keke Palmer's character. But there's a whole thing about the Wizard of Oz in there, because they talk about ruby slippers. Every time Jean Jacket eats up something, it's a little tornado is created. It takes it away. The inside of it's got this this sort of look, and then her name is Emerald, and it's a whole thing. And I was that's such a interesting thing to notice. And I definitely didn't notice it, but once it was pointed out, I was oh, this thing makes sense. And I just really like it. I want to go watch it again. I want to get a more thorough thing. I've thought about doing a whole just summary with an opinion type type thing, but I didn't want to do that unless that was something you guys wanted. So you just kind of get this short abridged moment of my thoughts, just being like, I loved this. This was great. Like A+ cinema type thing. And I know there were people that like didn't understand it. And my thing is, it's okay to not understand it, but you shouldn't convince other people to not see something because you didn't understand it. If you don't understand, that's fine. Maybe take the time to figure out why. Maybe it really just was not put together well, or you just missed something. But don't discourage other people from seeing like works that people like, hundreds of thousands of whatever of people hundreds of people put thousands of hours into, and like tons of work, and it's something really great and different, and not anything like of the current media standard where it's like, oh, we've gotten 10 of these already. It's not another MCU movie. It's something original. It's fun. It's good. You should go out and see it. I'm actually going to go ahead and end this podcast here because I'm very tired. I think I'm falling apart. No, I'm not falling apart. I'm just very tired because it's past midnight. So thank you guys for listening to the What a Thought podcast. If you liked it, let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you didn't like it, don't tell me that. But if you have a criticism, let me know. I'll usually respond to it in the next What a Thought. So far, one criticism has occurred from one other podcast, and I did respond to that. I don't know if they ever heard it, but it is what it is. If they took the time out of their day to listen to the one, maybe they'll listen to the other. But thank you guys again. I've been Matthew Allen. Check out all the other things that are in the Linktree link down in the description, and I'll see all of you when I'm less tired. Bye-bye.